What if I told you that in the time it takes to watch this video, thousands of years of human history will flash before your eyes? Imagine this: 1 second on your screen is 300 years of real time. In the blink of an eye, empires rise. In the next, they turn to dust. 1 second, our ancestors discover fire. The next, they build sprawling cities that seem to touch the sky. Entire civilizations are born, gods are worshipped, and brutal wars erase nations from the map, happening faster than your own heartbeat. This isn't just a simple timeline. This is the story of humanity, compressed into mere seconds. From the very first human footsteps on Earth to a future shaped by machines and unimaginable ideas. You are about to witness it all. 300 years, every single second. There are no pauses, and time shows no mercy. So, don't blink. Because history never waits. 4.5 billion years ago, our story began not with a whisper, but with the roar of cosmic violence. Earth was born in a molten chaotic sphere, constantly bombarded by debris from the forming solar system. For millions of years, there was no solid ground, no water, no life. It was a hellish landscape, a world waiting to be born. Then, as the planet gradually cooled, an epic transformation began. The skies, thick with volcanic gases, unleashed torrential rains that lasted for ages. These storms weren't just water. They were the architects of our world, carving out basins and filling them to create vast planet-spanning oceans. These primordial seas, dark and endless, became the cradle for something truly extraordinary. Deep within these ancient waters, shielded from the harsh ultraviolet radiation of the young sun, the first miracle occurred. Life quietly began. We don't know the exact moment or the precise mechanism, but somehow, non-living chemicals organized themselves into the first living cells. These were simple, single-celled organisms, but they held the power to change everything. They started to breathe, to divide, and to perform a type of alchemy that would terraform an entire planet. Through photosynthesis, they began releasing a waste product, oxygen. For hundreds of millions of years, this oxygen was absorbed by the oceans and iron on the surface, but eventually it began to fill the atmosphere. This great oxidation event was a catastrophe for early life, but it paved the way for a new, more complex world. With oxygen filling the skies, a new chapter of evolution could begin. Life exploded in diversity and complexity in what we call the Cambrian explosion. The oceans teemed with creatures of all shapes and sizes, trilobites scurrying on the seafloor, strange predators hunting in the gloom. Then came the next great leap. Life ventured out of the water, first plants, then insects, and finally vertebrates with lungs and legs crawling onto the barren continents. What was once rock and dust slowly turned green. Vast forests rose, creating new ecosystems. Insects grew to enormous sizes in the oxygen-rich air, and giants began to walk the earth. This was the age of the dinosaurs. For 150 million years, they were the undisputed rulers of the planet, an incredible dynasty of life that seemed destined to last forever. But the universe is a place of sudden, dramatic change. 66 million years ago, a single moment of cosmic violence reshaped the world again. An asteroid, 6 miles wide, struck the Earth with the force of billions of atomic bombs. The impact triggered a global winter, blotting out the sun and ending the age of the dinosaurs. Their reign was over. Yet, from these ashes of destruction, a new story began. Hidden in the shadows, small, furry creatures had survived the apocalypse. These were the first mammals. They were small, but they were adaptable, warm-blooded, and intelligent. In a world emptied of giants, they thrived. They diversified, filling every niche left vacant. Some returned to the seas, becoming whales and dolphins. Others took to the trees, their hands and eyes evolving for a life in the canopy. Among one group of these tree-dwelling mammals, a new kind of being emerged. They were fragile, with no sharp claws or thick hides. But they had something else. a burgeoning intelligence, and an insatiable curiosity. These were the first humans. Standing upright, they freed their hands to create tools. They learned to control fire, a power once wielded only by nature. This fire gave them warmth, protection, and the ability to cook food, fueling the growth of their ever-expanding brains. Around the flickering flames, they shared stories, developed language, and began to see patterns and meaning in the stars above. They were no longer just animals surviving. They were becoming beings who could ask why. Driven by changing climates and the search for food, these early humans began to migrate. They walked out of Africa, spreading across every continent on Earth, adapting to frozen tundras, dense jungles, and arid deserts. They hunted mammoths with stone-tipped spears and painted their stories on cave walls. Then, about 10,000 years ago, another revolution occurred. Instead of just hunting and gathering, they learned to plant seeds and domesticate animals. This was the dawn of agriculture. For the first time, humans could settle in one place. The rhythm of planting and harvesting turned the seasons into calendars. Villages grew, and with them, new social structures, new challenges, and new opportunities. These first settlements, often built along the fertile banks of great rivers like the Nile, the Tigris, and the Indus, grew into the world's first cities. With cities came civilization. Humanity learned to build on a grand scale, creating pyramids, ziggurats, and temples that reached for the heavens. They developed systems of writing to record their laws, their histories, and their beliefs. Gods were worshipped, laws were codified, and empires rose and fell, their armies clashing for land and glory. This was an age of kings, priests, and warriors, where humanity learned to organize itself, to build, to fight, and to believe on a scale never seen before. But something even more powerful than armies began to travel across the trade routes and sea lanes. Ideas. In ancient Greece, philosophers began to question the world, not through myth, but through logic and reason. In India, new spiritualities emerged that explored the nature of consciousness. In China, thinkers developed philosophies for creating a just and harmonious society. The Renaissance in Europe rediscovered this classical knowledge, sparking a revolution in art, science, and exploration. The world was reshaped again and again, not just by swords, but by thoughts. Science gave us a new way of understanding the universe, replacing dogma with observation and experiment. Explorers mapped the globe, connecting distant lands and cultures. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Machines powered by steam and coal roared to life, transforming society at a dizzying pace. Factories churned out goods, railways crisscrossed continents, and cities swelled, reaching toward the sky with towers of steel and glass. Time itself seemed to accelerate. What had once taken centuries now took decades. In the 20th century, humanity unlocked the power of the atom, walked on the moon, and created a global network that could transmit information at the speed of light. Today, we stand as a globally connected species, wielding immense power over nature and, frighteningly, over ourselves. We have the ability to cure diseases, to create stunning works of art, and to communicate instantly with someone on the other side of the planet. From a molten rock to a world teeming with life, from the first cell to a civilization that can ponder its own origins, this has been our incredible journey. We have faced extinction and reached for the stars. We have built empires and written poetry. Our story is one of violence and beauty, of ignorance and wisdom, of despair and hope. But this is not the end of the story. History is not something that is finished. It is being written every single day by every one of us. We are the latest chapter in this 4.5 billion-year-old saga, and the next page is still blank. What we write on it is up to us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join us for our next exploration.